Good morning. Good morning. It is 2:55 a.m. and as per the usual, I am on my way to the gym right now. I remember hearing of this story where a man was on his deathbed, and I don't remember exactly what was going on with him, but his body was bedridden. But he was on his deathbed, body ridden, and he just laid on his deathbed in the hospital, and all he wanted to do, the only thing he wanted to do was to be able to get up and go outside one last time and just feel the rain on his body. And what that story led me to believe was that we can get to certain points in our life where what's really important becomes overwhelmingly evident. You know, what's really fundamental becomes overwhelmingly evident at times when we are at our most vulnerablest. And I got up this morning and I wanted to see if it was, I just wanted to see if it was raining outside. I looked outside the door and it looked like there was water, so I opened up the door and walked out. And we have this, like, you have to go a little bit of a ways before you could clear the opening to our front entrance. And I walked a little bit and I put my hand out, and I felt little drops, but the ground was still wet, just like it is right now. And I just kind of stood there and looked, and it's dark and it's quiet and there's water coming down. And I had a moment of extreme humble gratitude. And not for anything other than what has been given to me that was far and beyond anything that I really could have done on my own, like a family. Like, I couldn't do a family on my own. You know, people that were entrusted to my care, a house, all these great things. And it got me to thinking, why do we always have to be pushed to the brink of broke to appreciate money? We have to be pushed to the brink of losing love in order to appreciate the company of another person, whether they're flawed or not. Why do we have to almost come to death in order to appreciate life? I mean, I know people who have literally beaten and survived cancer. I mean, that's a bad boy. That's a killer. And are complaining about money. He says, "O ye of little faith, do I not supply for the birds of the air? I kept you here. What are you worried about?" And those same individuals, while they were going through the cancer, all they wanted to do was just have another day. No cancer in their body. And I know people who have died. Lots. More than I care to mention. So having that moment this morning, it was really important to me because it allowed me to grasp onto the fact that as long as I have the things that are really important to me, why would I ever spend one single moment complaining about the things that, in the event that something horrific was going on, it wouldn't even matter to me. If I was laying on my deathbed and my last wish was simply to be able to get up and walk outside to feel the sunshine on my face, why would I be alive worried about money? Let me say that again. If I was pushed to the point of death and I was confronted with what was really important and it wasn't money, why, when I'm healthy and I can make these things happen, would I complain about something as generic as money? I'm not even going to get into the point that we need money. That's a given. But the word says that if I provide for the birds of the air, meaning they don't have to worry about shelter nor food, how much more will I do for you? Your worrying has nothing to do with God. That has everything to do with your control. You want control. You want to know the outcome. That's not faith. Faith is not knowing the outcome and trusting anyways. And so we're always pushed to these brinks that we have to come back from and pushed again. You know, you won't just come out swinging. You got to be pushed into a corner. You always got to be cornered. Cornered with your health to appreciate life. Cornered with being evicted in order to appreciate paying your bills and your finances and taking care of your responsibilities first. You always got to be pushed into love, you know, at the fate of losing a loved one. You always got to be cornered up in order to come out fighting. Why? Because you want to be in control. You don't want to trust the process. The same process that builds sustainability. The same process that allows you to keep it once you get it. You know, it's funny to me how most millionaires who win the lottery end up broke again because there was no process there. And when you have no process, then you have nothing to hold on to. You have nothing that's giving you any root. There's nothing anchoring you to the ground. That's not a process putting your $5 down saying, give me a scratch-off ticket and winning $1 million, $10 million. You have the same mentality that you had before you scratched off the ticket, before you gave up your $5. You have the same mentality about money. You hadn't been broke 5 different times just to come back and say, I'm tired of being broke and I'm going to make the changes. I'm going to start creating a budget. I'm going to start watching my money. I'm going to start giving myself a an allowance. The process shows you where you've made your mistakes, where you can correct your mistakes, and how you can not make those mistakes again. most people spend their whole life getting pushed into corners to never ever come out and say, oh, I get it. And to continuously keep circling around the same problem. And never understand that what you're complaining about right now pales into comparison to something that you've been through already in your life, and you should be thankful. Money is 90% of the problem in most people's lives. Whether they have it or don't have it, it's their problem. Because even when you got it, it's still a problem. Most successful people, when they gain a level of success, they say, I don't know who's really there for me because of me. But how many people will leave when the money's gone? So just understand, you have a very, in relative terms, if you got a planet that's been here over 1 million years, and in relative terms, maybe you're 80 on this planet. It's very short. It's important that you make every single day count. And another thing that was shared with me was that if your vision, it's God's not going to give you a whole lot if your vision is only for you. You got to make your vision bigger than just you and what you want. Your vision has to be able to touch a lot of other people. For me, my vision is, all the way down to my 4th generation. So you're talking about my kids. I pray that I'm here to see that. Because I'll be the one that had broken all those chains. Me and my wife will be the ones that say we broke those chains. We no longer have the mindset that there's limits. We no longer have a cap on what we can earn. We no longer have an area of life where we just dwell only in that spot forever and ever, never seeing anything else. We break a lot of that. And simply put, when you have a vision that's big and that brings other people into it, then you start really getting the attention of God. God doesn't need to come to your aid if your vision is only about you. You can do that. You can do that. You can provide for yourself. You don't need the creator of the universe to come down here and to resolve an issue that is just about you. That's like calling the president to come into court to testify for you on behalf of your speeding ticket. Well, Your Honor, Jill was on her way to work, and can you give her a pass on this? But when your vision is big, then you attract the attention of an awesome, big God.